I am super excited to film this video today because this video is not a normal video. This is a collaboration between me and Dub's Beauty Diary. So she has been a viewer of my channel for the longest time. She's supported my channel for so long, and when she reached out and asked if I'd like to do a collab with her, of course I said yes, because this is such a good idea for a collaboration. I'm going to be spilling all the tea today on project panning, which is my favourite, which is my least favourite, the pros and cons of both, reflecting on 10 project pans that I have done. I went kind of wild last year on project panning. I've definitely toned it down this year, but I'm going to be going into all the juicy goss, my thoughts, my opinions. But just before we do jump into this video, if you have not already, definitely like and subscribe, because I upload every single day here on my YouTube channel. I love bright, fun, colourful makeup. This was a Get Ready With Me. I used my Pastel Roses Pumpkin Spice palette that you can get 20% off with code Caitlin20. And this is a full face of products that I have neglected recently, so definitely go and check that out after you've watched this video. And as always, everything that I've used on my face will be linked down below for you. So 10 projects, yes. Before I get into the ranking, I want to say that last year I fell into a trap. I fell into a content creator trap, and that was doing the videos that get views. And you would think, oh my god, that is great, doing videos that get views. Project panning gets so many views on my channel. You guys love project panning and I love project panning. So I thought the more projects I do, the more views I'll get, the more fun I'll have, the more fun you'll have, and it's all going to be a great time and I'll grow my channel amazingly, right? I kind of forgot that project panning takes a lot of work, and so 10 projects, yes, that's what I'm going to be ranking today. So at number 10 I have the Supernatural Project Pan. I love these projects. I just want to say, like, before I jump into it properly, I love all of these projects, even the project pan at number 10. I love this. So this, I'm pretty sure Jessica Lee came up with this concept. And I love Supernatural so much. I have so many fond memories with the show Supernatural. It is one that I have binge watched. I remember watching the finale of the whole show in my little flat in Liverpool on FaceTime to my friend Autumn, and we were crying and we were sobbing and watching it together because it was 2020, that lovely year. So I have so many fond memories. This project is you go through the episodes of the show. So episode 1 is like the pilot, you read the synopsis and you find a product that kind of correlates to that synopsis or the title, or you can pull it into some way. So I remember one of them was about like a little boy who had been drowned. So I used like, I think it was like a cake liner because you've got to wet it and like things like that, you know. It's so much fun to kind of sit there and think of your collection in a very different way. There is no other project pan that I have done that makes me think about my collection in that kind of way. How fun is it to kind of tie in products to different things and really use your brain to try and link products together? However, I only ended up doing this project for a few months. I think it was like 4 or 5 months, because by that time I'd kind of realized, oh, like this is difficult. As I said, I was doing 10 project pans at that point, and adding in another one was absolutely crazy of me in hindsight. I think I only had 3 products in that project because I knew that adding another project was not a good idea. I just wanted to do another project so badly, and I was just like itching to do another project, even though I was drowning in projects anyway. So the progress on that was not very good because I think I only put in like 5 or 10 use goals on those things because I was so overwhelmed. Looking back, I should not have started that project. It was definitely more of a like wishful thinking kind of fantasy self kind of thing, because girl, stop. You're already doing so much. Like at the time I was pretty much panning my whole collection. Like there was no point in having a project panning little drawer like I have now because it was just my whole collection. So that is my number 1 project panning tip for you guys. Just keep it minimal. The less projects you do, the better your progress is going to be. Don't be like me last year. Don't do it. So at number 9 is one I wish I could rank higher. Like all of these I love. I wish I could rank this higher, but number 9 is No Pan Left Behind. This is a project that unofficially still doing. I had a dedicated video for No Pan Left Behind every single month, and I'd have a single eyeshadow palette and a normal pre-made eyeshadow palette. And in concept, it should have been really fine, right? So you get a palette. Maybe this is a bad example because this is a massive palette. You get a palette and you use every single shade one time. Sounds really easy, sounds really simple, but every single time, it would get to like a week before my No Pan Left Behind update and I would start to panic because I had not touched any of those eyeshadows. They were just put to the side. I forgot all about them. I was so focused on pan that palette, pan those eyeshadows, all that kind of stuff, that I just completely forgot that this project existed. And every single month I would have like 2 looks because I just procrastinated. It was the same story every single month. So I did eventually decide that, you know what, this project, it's gonna have to be cut somewhere. I did say originally that I was gonna kind of merge it with my everyday makeup drawer. So the eyeshadow palette that I pulled as part of my everyday makeup drawer / ShopMy stash kind of series would become my No Pan Left Behind, and I'd use every single shade one time. But again, that kind of fell through as well. So now I've just kind of given up with No Pan Left Behind. The concept was great, and the idea of me getting use on my single eyeshadows is so much fun because my single eyeshadows do get so neglected. Like, it's really sad because they are some of the most beautiful eyeshadows in my collection, but they do unfortunately get neglected. So I really wanted this to work because I could use them and I could love them and I could show them to you and be like, wow, look what I'm wearing on my eyes. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out. I do still make like BYOPs with my single eyeshadows and I do incorporate them in other projects as well. But for the time being, unfortunately, No Pan Left Behind, I've just learned to let it go. If you love her, let her go. And that's what I'm doing. Number 8 is one that I'm actually still doing, but I fail at this every single year. And this is my 100 products in 2020 blank. So this year it's obviously 2025, but this project is a little bit different from the other projects because this is updated every 3 months instead of every 1 month. So at the start of the year, I sit down and I pick 100 products that I want to finish in that year. And it's specific products that go on a list and that I highlight every single time that I finish them. Now, my first update for this year is actually due live very, very soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. But I always make this list, and in January I am so motivated and I'm saying, yes, I'm gonna do it. Every time I have a roll in for a project pan, I'm gonna look at my list, I'm gonna see what products I have hand chosen to finish. Never happens. Never happens. I think the closest I've got to hitting those 100 was like 70 something, and that was a few years ago. Last year was a massive fail, I think. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I can never ever stick to the plan. I'm trying this year. I'm trying, okay? How many have I got so far? This is going to be a little bit of a spoiler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in 3 months. It's not good. It's not great. No, it's not good. I just get way too distracted. I just get way too excited about things and it just doesn't happen. I always make some progress. It's good to see some progress and it's good to see what I have actually done and what I have actually used, what I have actually finished. But I think because this project is more about empties rather than just hitting pan or just using things so many times, it's definitely a lot harder to get progress on because obviously you're trying to finish products instead of lower usage goals. So yeah, this one's always a real challenge. It's a real challenge and I always feel so bad at the end of the year because I feel like I should have done more. I feel like I should have been more motivated, but then again, the next year comes round and I just don't. It's always fun to see at the end of the year, but progress is never great. At number 7, we have a little bit of a blast from the past, and this is Fantasy. So this has a little bit of a sentimental place in my heart because this was the first Fantastic Ladies collab that I joined in with, and it was so much fun. It was created by Ali, and she is such a wonderful friend of the channel. I love you, Ali, if you are watching this. She created a big long list of fantasy creatures, so it's like a basilisk, a minotaur, a mermaid, a vampire, and she made prompts that kind of correlated to that fantasy creature. So I think the Cyclops was a single eyeshadow, or the vampire was like a blood red product, things like that, and it was so much fun. I had 5 products in at a time, and then obviously when I finished or hit my goal on one, I'd roll another one in. I did end up randomizing this, which was a really, really fun idea, and I'm really, really glad that I did randomize it, because it added that little bit of like suspense, like I don't know what I'm gonna get, and that was so much fun to me. The randomization aspect I really, really did enjoy. I think I did this for 3 years running, which is a long time now you think about it. Like 3 years is such a long time to be doing a project pan. And this year I actually decided to stop doing this project. Again, it was because I was doing so many that I just had to take a break from them. This project started in October and ended in October, so it didn't follow the calendar year. So October I did finish it, and now I've been free of it for a few months now. Even Ali herself commented on one of my videos and said that project panning just isn't it for her either. So it's clearly not just me, and I've heard a few project panners say that they have had project panning burnout, so it's not in my head. It's not all in my head. It's definitely a real thing. But it was just something that like I loved and I enjoyed, but I needed to get rid of some. I just needed to chill, because I kind of stopped enjoying doing my makeup, because I was like, right, I've got to use this foundation. I've got to use it, and I wasn't enjoying what I was using. It was more of like a chore. So to get rid of, I got rid of so many projects. Honestly, I got rid of so many projects. To get rid of some was so freeing to me, and I definitely think it was the right decision. It's obviously been a good few months now that I've not been project panning as much, and I feel really good. I feel like my progress in my projects is a hell of a lot more than it was last year, and that makes me really happy because now I actually have time to use things. But I have said before, I love fantasy. I love like Game of Thrones and things like that. I read fantasy all the time. I watch fantasy all the time. And I really genuinely loved this project. I got so much progress from my collection as well. And it was a really good way of rotating through things that maybe I hadn't used that much. So sadly, at number 7, This Is Fantasy. Next at number 6 is a project that's kind of in the same boat. This is Deck of Panning. Oh, Deck of Panning. I had a love-hate relationship with Deck of Panning because the first year I did it, Deck of Panning hated me. It gave me the worst prompts ever. Like every single month, it would give me the prompt that I wanted the least. And then the second year that I did it, I think I only did this 2 years, it was beautiful. It was great. It was my best friend. It really loved me. I loved it back. Mwah. So this was created by Emily and Max, and she correlated this around a deck of cards. So every month you would pick 5 random cards, and every single month Emily would randomize the game board. So if you picked the 3 of hearts for 2 months on a run, it would be different products because she'd randomize it. So that added randomization aspect of this was so much fun. I really, really did enjoy it. And obviously the Joker was, are you joking? So if you pulled the Joker, you had to pick a product that you really did not want to pan. And I got that Joker a few times, and trust me, it was awful. The adrenaline that you would feel when you were picking a new card was not even funny. Like, Emily, I think you've taken about 5 years off my life there, but I really enjoyed it. I really wanted this project to have more like serious goals, so I hit pan on a lot in that project. I used things a lot. It was definitely a project that wasn't the easiest for me. But again, like Fantasy, it was one that I just had to let go. It was one that you guys loved and I loved, and it was like saying goodbye to like a family member. But again, if you love her, let her go. And that was what I did with this. It was sad, but it is what it is. Again, I'm really happy that I did end up doing that though. It was something that needed to be done. And now that I am kind of away from that mega project pan on the brain every single day mindset, I am a lot happier, but I do miss this one every now and then because it was good. At number 5, this is actually one that I'm still doing to this day, and it is one that I really, really, really love. This is Project 10 Uses. Now, this is such a chill one. This was like my get out of jail free card every month. Every month when I was drowning in hit pan and finish goals, here came Project 10 Uses out of the light to give me a little bit of a helping hand, and I still love this project. As it says on the tin, you use things 10 times. I have 10 products in the project, I use them 10 times. Now, I like to put either new products into this project, either products that like I haven't had chance to use very many times. That's a great way of trying new things and getting a good understanding of things. Or I like to put products that maybe aren't loved and I need to kind of understand them a little bit more. Things that I'm a little bit wary of, I need just a little bit of a push to use them, to understand them, so that I can either declutter them or keep them or figure out my kind of mindset around it. Every single month with this project, I have so many rollouts because again, it's just a breath of fresh air. I probably have like 5 to 6 rollouts every single month, and it is one that I enjoy so much. It is such a chill, sigh of relief in amongst the madness, and I am so excited to continue with this. I am getting a few like little PR bits and bobs, so it's really, really nice now that I am getting some PR that I'm not just doing a review and it's in my drawers. Like, I'm putting it into Project 10 Uses, I'm getting some love on it, I'm really understanding it and getting to know it more so that I can come back and say, no, I actually have used this 10 times and I still love it, or I've used it 10 times and now I'm not so sure. It gives you a better understanding of the new products that are coming out as well. And I love that, combining like new products and PR and exciting, you know, brand relations with project panning and like old school Caitlin Costello, bringing them together. It is just such a nice way of merging things, and I think you guys love it as well. So this one is definitely a absolute favorite. I mean, everything going forward I absolutely love. It was so hard to rank these going forward, but something's got to be at the top, something has to win, and so let's keep going because the next few things I just love so much. At number 4, this was so difficult. At number 4 is Pan That Face palette. So I've been doing this for 1, 2, 3, 4 years now. I think this is the 4th year that I'm doing Pan That Face palette. So my first year I panned the Anastasia Aurora Glow Kit. I learned a lot. Let's say that. I learned a lot. So this was a 6, was it 6 or 8 pans? It was one or the other. It was a lot of highlighters. And I learned from that first year, do not pan a palette with all of the same type of product. Pan a palette with a blush, a bronzer, and a highlighter, because you can only use one highlighter every day. I don't know what went through my mind when I thought, yeah, this will be a good palette to pan. I think I did finish one of the shades and I hit pan on a bunch of the other shades, which was great. It gave me a bunch of motivation. Then the next year, I actually still have this. This is my Huda Summer Solstice palette. And this is what it looks like. I did declutter one of the shades, but the rest of the shades were completely used up, completely finished. And I mean, just look at this palette. Is this not a panner's dream? Yes, it is. This, again, really gave me motivation to carry on with this project because just seeing this is so satisfying to me. I had a bronzer topper, a highlighter, and a blush in here, and I loved them all. I used them all year and completely finished it. And then for last year, I actually finished half of this. So I had a bronzer and a highlight. Actually, the highlight is not quite finished yet. The highlight I ended up frankening into here. So this was the Pan That palette highlight from last year. As you can see, barely anything left at all. And then I had another duo with a bronzer, that highlight, and then these two as well. You can see I made such good progress in this blush. I did get some burnout with this, I'm not gonna lie. It was the only blush I was using for pretty much all year, and blush is hard to pan. I think one of the first lessons you learn as a project panner is blush is not your friend. Blush is difficult. So obviously Pan That Face palette, you'd often get a blush. I'm still very proud of the progress that I made on this and in this, to be honest. This is a super bright, beautiful, peachy, corally kind of blush. And then this is definitely more everyday. I'm really, really happy. I think I've used about half of this. So I can't complain too much. I finished the bronzer completely, so I did a really, really good run last year. But this year I've decided to do things a little bit differently, and I am panning 3 singles. So I kind of realised that I was neglecting my singles to do pan that face palette. So this year I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to kind of make a face palette with singles, and I've really been loving this as well. I have, spoiler alert, 3 pans in 3 of these products, which is amazing. I did update this project not too long ago, so I'll link it up in the cards if you wanted to see it more in depth. But I'm really, really pleased with these. These are my oldest products in my collection from each category, so I'm super, super excited to get use on them and to love them and to hopefully have these finished by the end of the year. Pan that palette, whether it be eyeshadow palette or face palette, is always so satisfying because you spend so much time on one specific product and you slowly try and finish it throughout the year. And it's just really satisfying to me. I love seeing that progress, even though it takes forever and you lose your mind throughout the year. It's still such an exciting progress kind of project. And I love it. And I think you guys love it as well. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to pan next year, but that's a worry for another day. So we are at top 3 now, and I mean, some of you will already know the top 3. You may not know the order, but let's go. In 3rd place is my rolling project pan. Now, this one scares me. This is like the main project pan here on my channel. I have, how many products am I panning this year? Is it 6? I've definitely gone down. I've gone down a few. A few people weren't too happy at me for doing that, but like I said before, last year I panned way too much. So I'm cutting down where I can. I still think 6 is a pretty good number. I have major goals in this project. This is not like, I'm gonna use this 5 times, tee-hee-hee. This is like, I'm gonna finish this. I'm going to finish this. They are all finished goals this year. Last year, I did have a few hit pan goals, a few 25 use goals. This year, I'm finishing everything in that project. That's why it scares me. I do have a rollout already for this project, so I do update this right at the end of the month. So definitely stay tuned because we do have an empty, which is super, super exciting, but like and subscribe to see that. And I'm scared because I'm one of those people with project panning that I feel like I have to be productive all the time. I feel like I have to come on every single month with good progress, with a rollout, otherwise I'm a big fat failure. So I'm really scared of this project pan this year because I know that there's going to be a few updates where, yes, I have really good progress, but I don't have a rollout. And that's okay. I need to understand that that is okay. That's fine. I don't need to have an empty every single month because that's not realistic. But one of the reasons why I decided to do such a major just empties rule for this project pan this year is because of my 100 products in 2025 kind of project that we spoke about before. I found that I was putting products in my rolling project pan that I wanted to finish, but I was kind of too scared to finish. And also I had that like, well, I need to have things rolled out next month kind of mindset. So I was putting like 25 uses on things. I was putting just like hit pan goals on things because I was scared of not having a rollout. This year, if I don't have a rollout, too bad, we're finishing products. So it's definitely one that I'm pretty scared about, but also really, really excited about. Like at the same time, it's one of those projects that I really love, but I'm really, really scared about. But I know that we're going to have such amazing progress this year. Stay tuned because we're still at the very, very start of the year and I'm super, super excited to keep going. It's definitely one of the most challenging projects, but I'm really excited to carry on with it. And I've had some great, great, great progress throughout the years. So yeah, if you want to see some empties coming very, very soon, definitely stay tuned for this project because again, that will be live at the very, very end of the month. I like to put it at the end of the month because it's kind of like a big finale for the month and then the next month is the same kind of thing. I don't know, I just like having it at the very, 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 very end to kind of round the month off. At number 2, this is, I love this project, but it's so difficult. This is Pan Those Eyeshadows. Oh my goodness me, I love this so much. I've changed this again this year. I love, 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 love this, but I needed to change it up a little bit. So last year, I had like a category for every single one of them, and it was just like so hard to keep track of. Last year, I had one hand-chosen shade from a focus palette, one hand-chosen shade from my whole collection, one randomized shade from my eyeshadow palette collection, and then one randomized shade from my singles collection, which I mean, why make things 10 times harder for yourself, Caitlin? Don't know, but I clearly enjoy it. This year, I do have a focus palette. Let me get it out. This is my Book of Magic palette. I will show you what's inside. This is what it is currently looking like. This is my focus palette for 2025. So every month I will have a focus shade that I'm working on in Pan Those Eyeshadows to try and hit pan on. Ideally, I'd love to have all of these shades have pan by the end of the year because I'm kind of eyeing it as pan that palette, but I'm really not sure yet. But again, if I could, that'd be amazing. So I have a focus palette, and then the other 3 shades are completely random. That is from my single eyeshadow collection and my eyeshadow palette collection. So all of those shades are in one massive spreadsheet. Now, what I used to do last year is if I randomized a shade that already had pan on, I would re-roll. But I've kind of realized that I do a thing that I don't want to be doing anymore. And that is if I hit pan on an eyeshadow, I'll then just leave it. And it's just like dead to me, apparently. But now what I'm doing this year is if I roll in an eyeshadow that already has pan on it, I'm gonna then continue to use it 20 times to expand the pan. And I think this is such a fun little aspect of this project that I've started to incorporate because I really, really don't want to be neglecting things. Even if they have pan on them already, they could have had pan on them from years ago and I still am not using them. I'm just overlooking them to try and hit pan on other things. So I'm trying not to do that as much this year, and I'm really, really enjoying it, especially that randomization aspect of things. I love that. I always love being surprised by things. Maybe it's a good surprise, maybe it's a bad surprise. We won't quite know, but it makes me so happy. It makes me so excited to update this project every single month. This project is actually going live this week. The update for this is going live very, very soon. So if you've not already subscribed, definitely subscribe because you do not want to miss this update. You don't want to miss the updates for all of these projects, the ones that I'm still doing anyway. Eyeshadow is my favorite part of doing my makeup. So of course, Pan Those Eyeshadows is way up in top 2 because how could it not be? How could it not be? I've been doing this project for about 5 years, I think, since I first started doing project panning, and I just love it so much. I cannot imagine not doing Pan Those Eyeshadows in some way, shape or form. It brings me so much joy. I love it as well. I also love it because it pushes me out my comfort zone a little bit. There are some shades that I will get randomly rolled in and I'll think, ugh, oh no. But I have to use them and I have to kind of play around with them and I have to try and make them work in some ways. This year though, I am kind of saying I'm not hate panning things. So if I do get like a bright neon pink, which if you've been on my channel, you will know is my favorite color. It's not. I will use it for a month, but if I don't like it, I can roll it out. I'm not going to hold myself to hitting pan on things I don't want to hit pan on. But I'm really loving this project so far this year, and I hope you are as well. So you eagle-eyed people in the audience will already know what number 1 is, and I don't think it's much of a surprise. Number 1 is Pan That Palette. Is this the pain of my existence? Yes. Do I love it? Yes. So I've panned how many palettes? 1, 2, 3. I think I've done it for 4 years now. So the first Pan That palette that I did was the Soph X Revolution palette, and I got a very, very long way with that. I hit a bunch of pans, I finished a bunch of shades, which was really, really good. My next palette was my favorite, I think. This is the e.l.f. Truffles Bite Size palette. I ended up completely finishing that. I think there was a tiny bit of the black shadow left, but you know, we can overlook that. That was such a fun palette to pan. Next we had this. Oh boy, this taught me a lot. This was Modern Renaissance. This is what mine looks like. Boy, oh boy, was this an absolute nightmare. This was hate panning central. This was, Caitlin, why are you doing this to yourself? There was one shade in this palette, two shades in this palette that I remember really enjoying, and that was Warm Taupe, which was here, and also Cypress Umber, which was here. The rest of the shades were just get through them. just get through them, just use them up, just do it. And I didn't realize how much of that mindset I was in until I actually stopped panning this. I did pan this for 2 years on the run, which is not good. I know I said if you take one thing from this video, don't pan a face palette with all one type of product, but also do not pan a palette for 2 years on the run. The first year that I panned this, I got such good progress on it. I'd finished so many shades. I'd hit pan on, I think, all of the shades. The second year I was panning it, I think I finished like 2 shades. There was basically no progress. I was coming on camera every single month and being like, can you see this like millimeter of pan expansion? Like, wow, like there was nothing to see because I was just done with this. I've said before, I mean, despite what I'm wearing today, I'm not a big fan of super warm tones. This was just super warm tone central. It was just an absolute nightmare to get through. I'm so glad I'm not panning this anymore. Oh my goodness me, like, wow. But even though I hate this so much, Pan That palette is still number one. This year, I am panning a cool tone palette. This is the That's Taupe palette. I will show it you, why not? This is what this palette is looking like just 3 months into the year, which I think is amazing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pans in this, and I'm super, super excited about that. But this is very, very cool tone and blues, which are my absolute favorite things in the world. So I'm having a blast with this palette. I love this palette so much. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it, and I use this almost every single day. I use this shade in my brows every single day. I use this shade to set my lid every single day, and I mean, you can see the progress in this is major. So shocker, I've got a palette that I'm loving. Who'd have thought? What a concept. But this has redeemed Pan That palette so much for me. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm not hate panning anything, which I'm so excited about. So Pan That palette is definitely number one in my little project panning ranking list. So here we go. This is the end of this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, definitely like and subscribe. A massive thank you to Dub's Beauty Diary again for including me in this collaboration. It was such a fun idea. Definitely go and check out her video as well. Again, I'll leave her linked down below. But this is it. This is where I'm gonna love you and leave you today, guys. Have an absolutely fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow for a brand new video. Bye bye!